So I'm thinking this is definitely in the 80s. So definitely not 70s. Anyway, so I got two reasons I needed that. One is I have my 48 panhead case sitting over here that is missing that piece right there. So obviously that's not going to help me because it's the wrong side. So I'm still missing that piece. Okay, so obviously it's not for that because it ain't going to work. Who came up with that stupid theory? The other thing is, and I'm playing on my airplane motor over here, and I want to use a Sportster case, but I'm going to use a big twin left side. So in order to mock stuff up, you need to dunk. So this is experimental. Boom, that goes right there. So assuming that the Harley is the same deck height, you line that up like that, and then everything you don't see you cut off and start over. Now obviously the deck height is different on the Evo because you can see how the main bearing is not in the center of the case. Actually it's a little bit high, and I know big twins are lower than Sportsters, so that looks like it's pretty centered right there, which is about that far down. And I know these things sit down lower, yet probably more like about here. Now we're getting about 1/2 inch, 5/8 down. So probably more like this is where it would sit. So you cut this off because if we want to have this. So you can take another Sportster case and glue that to your big twin case. Still keep the alternator lip in here because we want to be able to bolt the primary to it. The problem is the Harley frame will be in the way. The frame rails here might get in the way. No, I think it'll clear. It's underneath there far enough it should clear. There's a lack of clearance in there, but there's some clearance, so that's probably okay. We can stick down between the case halves. So I can take a left case out of a Sportster and get these parts that are missing and glue them in here. And then, you know, obviously the motor mount's supposed to be here, you know, that thing. And you just graft it in from here around. You cut the bottom of the case off and glue it in. And the stuff that's missing between here, you just kind of, you know, make it up as you go. That's just some welding. Looks like the front part's not too far off. The back part is way the hell off. Probably because I'm off center quite a bit. It should be in the center, so center up a little better. More like that probably. So well, obviously you can probably make that work fairly good. So you just weld a motor mount on this side. You know, just basically copy the bossing. The stuff that's missing in the back of this case would be needed on this case. So a little welding. So that would, so I can probably match that up, and then I get a 4-cam big twin motor with a wet sump down here so you can suck the oil out of the sump and get the Harley oil system changed. Right now the Harley oil system is on everything that's Evo on back. These are in the oil system, which means oil, this is running around in oil, which takes up a lot of drag. It sucks it up, blows through the hole right here, and blows in the cam cover over here. Twin cams and M8s, they suck out of the bottom of the case. I got an M8 line over here. Come on, Tatro, get on my way. So there's an M8 floating around over here. Here it is. So this here M8 left case. So you have like a big oil pan down here where it catches the oil, and the pump sucks the oil out of the bottom of the case, and just fills up the oil down here until it sucks out. So that gives you, the flywheels actually stay out of the oil system. When you got the flywheels in the oil system, it just causes a lot of drag. It's like you trying to run through the water. You don't run very good in water. The crank does the same thing. It doesn't want to be in water either. So that's a bad design. That's one thing that's nice about the twin cam M8, they got rid of that problem. Sportsters had the same problem on these bikes until they, in '77, did this design like this. On my race bike, I actually put an oil pan down with a scraper and screen in there, and I use this fuel pump here to suck the oil out of the pan, so it sucks the oil out of it all at once. So I use this system here. So you can see here with the flywheel, the splash where it splashes up, so this stops it from splashing onto the crank a little bit. And there's the oil pickup hole right back there. So I want to keep this design here, get rid of the design here, but I want to use this left case here so I can bolt it into a big twin frame. So that's what this is all about. So lots of different things can be done. It's just a matter of how you do it. So obviously just bought this for something to play with a little bit. So until you have one sitting here, you don't know how it sits on everything lines up. So right now it doesn't look like it's too bad. So one thing I got to figure out how I'm going to do is I want to lower the main bearing on the Sportster case. Lower this down so I can put a big twin cam drive in here, because you have more distance between here and here. The biggest thing is you got more distance between the cam bearing and here, so there's more material in here, stronger. And if you're going to use a big twin application on this side, then you need to it'd be nice to have a big twin crank that actually fits your drive system. If you use a Sportster crank, they're smaller diameter shafts and all that, and it doesn't match up very well. You know, you'd have to make some kind of a sleeve thing here to sleeve it down to a smaller size. Why do I want to do that? That's stupid. I'd rather take this and offset bore it and put a bigger bearing in it. Kind of like they have on this big motor over here, which is now on the wrong side of the bike, over here. So if you look in there, you got that big bearing in there, down there. So do something like that where I got a big bearing in there. So that's what we're looking for. So I want to see if I can do something like that. I have to play around the cam gears a little bit, but I think I can make that work. That is yet to be determined, so that's why I needed a case like that. In this case, I can kind of play with it and proof it out. I got a nice virgin case here waiting to be modified. So that'll be another project. Make it work. Of course, I don't like this late case, so I might get another one and use a different one. This one's an 07 and then later Sportster case, and the 06 on back had 2 pins in here that kept the lifters from rotating. This one has these plastic bushing things in here that I don't like. They make aluminum ones aftermarket, but whatever. Just eliminate the problem. The other option is to use a Buell case, and it doesn't have the generator snout on it. It just has a triangle shaped cover down here, and it has the pins in there also because it's a better design. And they don't have all this crap down here like this either. It's different. They have this. This is different. This is the here, but that's different. But I don't care. I'm cutting it off anyway. So maybe I'll butcher a Buell case. I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do. All I know is when I go to put this big ass airplane motor together, small motor, big motor, a little different size there, huh? Yeah. Then I need to, the cylinder's going to be way the hell over here. Get that sucker up in there like that. To clear your cylinders, you're going to be, your bore is way down here. That's where the bore is, and you got room for that. Because this is a big ass bore cylinder. So anyway, that's one thing to be looking at too. And the big twin cylinder case is going to be the same issue. Obviously, it's not made to bolt that onto that. It ain't going to happen. It has to move over. So if you keep that in center, that'll sit right there. And you see how the motor mount is no longer going to be needed because it's going to be gone. It's going to be a cylinder over there. So this will no longer fit in a Harley frame that's stock. You'd have to cut the frame right here and lengthen the frame to make this work in a Harley frame, which is kind of what I was planning to do. So this motor requires a custom frame. This motor here, hopefully not. Alright, there you go. That is what that's all about. And that, whether it's an Evo or shovel makes no difference. It's the same mounting system. The only difference is the deck bolt pattern. So this is an Evo motor. You can see how much taller this one is than this one. Let's see, it's down here. There you go. About an inch taller. See? A little bit difference. So, anyway. I'll probably wind up buying cases like this and modifying them if they'll sell them to me separate. I don't want to buy both halves though, just one half. But we'll see. Most manufacturers don't want to break up stuff like that. So you start using more stuff like that, junk crap. Alright, there you go. Shovel head case. More custom stuff to play with.